Okay, item number 2 is the lake maintenance.
You have a letter in front of you, that's an estimate. The people that's working on the lake out there now, talked to him, he's putting some effort into doing an analysis of the lake. He estimates he could do 60% of the north bank and 50% of the south bank to be sloped. This is an area where we're talking about going around and edging the lake, dropping about 2 foot, so it's to help on the grass situation out there at the lake. Can't go all the way around it due to the fact that there's so many wet spots and springs, and some of the springs are up on there, and it's impossible to do that unless you go in and excavate. And excavation would cost considerably more. So what the thought is to take 2 small dozers, low ground pressure dozers, and go around and according to this guy's analysis, he felt comfortable with his dozers handling 50% of the south side and 6% of the north side. And there's a little bit of backhoe work that needs to be done around one of the sloughs up in there to make it look right. Needs a little bit of backhoe work. He's proposing that he would do a tour of the area with a representative from the city to confirm what he's talking about doing, the area he's talking about. No dirt would be hauled off. We push everything out into the lake, level it down, cut it down 2.5 foot from the shore, so as to avoid the sloping of it. And what he's suggesting is that he could do that in about 40 hours of work, and he's suggesting a purchase order or an agreement that would be capped at $10,000. He would let us know well ahead of time of how close he's getting to $10,000. It would be not to exceed $10,000.
So basically, a 40-hour week with 2 dozers for $8,400.
Yeah.
Have we looked at any other comparative?
No.
Talked with any other contractors? If we hadn't done that, I would like to. I agree this needs to be done, especially for the aesthetics of the lake. We've got it down. Now's the time to be doing it. It needs to be done. I would just like to give our local contractors that do dozer work a look at it.
We didn't do that when we gave a purchase order to repair the upper dam. We gave a change order of $30,000, is my understanding, to those people there. We didn't go out for bids on that. That's why I thought, since this guy's working down there already, he's got the equipment on site, he's got the type of equipment that we need, not local.
Did you ever check these out? So I had asked you to check with these out. Okay, well I think we should.
Okay.
Is there anyone that does Brian?
Or all of our local contractors. I don't have any problem, but I think, probably.
Personally, I think it's a great price. They're a good price.
Probably will be a good price.
I just, the scope and magnitude of what we're questioning here relative to the change order on the upper dam is quite magnificent as far as meticulous work. Here we're just doing dozer work. That's the only reason I'm all that.
I don't know about that assessment, but I understand your point.
I agree it needs to be done, and this is, Mr. Taylor's already out there, and he's obviously going to do some other stuff for us.
All right, so where do we go from here then? You want to go out for quote?
I called Ezel and asked him to give me a quote on it.
Is this a fair way of doing business now, of getting a quote from someone else and then going somewhere else and giving them that information or that information?
You don't have to give them this information.
Well, but it's available.
Well, don't give it.
Just tell them what we want and
There's 10 people here.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think that if we have local businesses that are capable of doing the work and we don't give them the opportunity to do the work that we're doing, our local businesses a disservice.
The reason I
didn't do that,
the reason I didn't do that is because again, we did a 30,000 job out there. We didn't bid that, so that was a change. And to me, this falls into the same category. So that's why I did not do it, because he had the equipment on site, and I don't think he's going to beat the price, but we may
May
get it.
not.
Yeah.
You very well may not.
But if we was going to do that, we should have gone out close to begin with.
Well, it's just been my,
Well, I did ask you to contact Bezos, if you remember.
they're gonna be there another month working. Yeah, at the very least, so the lake levels are gonna be down. If this is something that the mayor or myself, I don't mind contacting Mr. Bob or any of the other local people. We wanna make sure we're comparing apples to apples as far as what he's proposed. You know, it's very rare that two gentlemen is gonna go out to the same job and not communicate and give you the same quote. Because they're gonna look at it from a different perspective, obviously. I just, you know, hey, I'm just going to tell you how it is. You do some of these things, and you've got people here in town that buy a business license, and they come to you, you know, and say, I'd like to have a shot at
They
that
will
job.
come to me,
And so, I'm just,
and they should.
you know,
You know.
if I didn't think that would happen, we'd tell Mr. Taylor just to get after it. But I think it's a great
Yeah.
price, and it's got to be done.
I'd like to see it done. I've said that from the get-go. It would, you know, especially since we didn't see it, then it's gonna make the lake look a lot better in every aspect. Okay. Item number 3, Civic Center Pavilion.
I'm going to sneak down to item number 5 before we get into other expenditures. But
Well, we're just discussing, so we're not saying.
Now that's cheap, Joe.
Let me
This
just,
is already paid for,
let me
so.
speak to the pavilion. The pavilion is something that we've discussed briefly amongst all of us. Mr. Taylor has agreed to help us with the pilings of the, which will be 10 by 10 marine treated posts for the structural pilings for the gazebo. We had initially thought about allowing some of our city workers who were, have some carpenter skills to do it, but the complexity of it was a little too overwhelming as far as when you get into these octagons and different things. It's just something that personally we really don't have the time to take 2 or 3 good men and, you know, pull them off equipment from day-to-day routine activities that we have to do and then put them on this big project. So it's probably going to be a project that we need to let bids on for the construction and erection of the pavilion. It's a 40 by 40 gazebo is what we've kind of all wanted to do. This will be something that will rent out by itself for weddings or for cookouts or what have you, and if someone wants it along with the Civic Center, they can get it too. It's not going to have a pier. It's going to be built right at the water's edge and then go out. We just need to decide, while we've got somebody in place that has the capability to drive pilings, you know, are we ready to move forward on building a gazebo, or do we want to build a more square, simple structure with the same square footage? Yeah, my personal view on it is I'd like to go ahead and, you know, the aesthetics of it, gazebo-wise, is prettier.
yeah, it is.
And I know that for some, that don't mean a whole lot, but if we're gonna do this, let's go ahead and do it right, so in 25, 30 years, we still got a nice structure there.